Chapter 5. Yes. Yes. The minister will be returned to you at once. Commander Dork said into the phone, wiping the perspiration off his forehead with an already damp handkerchief. We are so sorry about this unfortunate accident. We are sparing no expense to return him to Pluto. The angry voice at the other end shouted something the commander couldn't quite understand. The connection between Earth and Pluto was not the best. Yes. We have folded the minister up and sealed him in an envelope. We're dropping him in the mail right now. I'm sending him airmail. You'll have him back in a few weeks. Dork wiped his forehead again. Yes. I wrote, do not bend on the envelope. You should be able to revive him quickly. He's a little flat, but he's still breathing. After several more apologies, he hung up. Those space cadets caused me nothing but trouble, he thought, angrily squeezing the edge of his desk. Imagine, sitting on the Plutonian minister. That's not just careless. It's irresponsible. I must get rid of the 4 of them. I must. The headmaster was dreaming up ways to eliminate the space cadets. Ways that didn't seem quite painful enough to him. When Cadet Beef Hardy strode jauntily into the office, his toothy smile at a regulation 35-degree lip width. His blonde hair trimmed to follow cadet grooming rules. His gold and gray uniform pressed smooth as granite. Good afternoon, Commander. Hardy said, you're looking really well. That red tie certainly brings out the color of your cheeks. Are you doing something new with your scalp? It looks particularly shiny today. And how is your lovely daughter? Has she mentioned me lately? I'm in no mood for chit-chat. Dork said, pushing his chair back from the big wooden desk and standing up to his full height. For feet 6 inches in his boots. He stepped around the desk, collided with the wastebasket, which was just a little taller than he, and began to pace nervously back and forth the length of the office. Cadet Hardy stood at attention, facing the now empty desk. I heard about the splat, sir. He said softly. The splat? Yes. You know. The Plutonian minister. The splat. The headmaster made a sour face. Yes. Yes. The splat. I suppose the news is all over the academy by now. Well, that fat cadet named Rip is showing everyone the blue stain the minister made on his uniform pants. Enough! Dork cried, holding up a hand as if to hold Hardy back. Enough! Sorry, sir. No wonder the commander was in a bad mood. Sitting on foreign ministers was against regulations 455-X and 455-Y. I need your help, Cadet Hardy. Commander Dork said, lowering his voice and looking from side to side to make sure no one was watching. You need another sandwich, sir? Hardy asked. No. No. Forget about sandwiches. Dork hoisted himself up onto the front of his desk. His feet dangled over the edge, a good foot from the floor. Although, I could go for a tuna fish lettuce and tomato on white bread. Without the tuna fish and without the lettuce. No. Forget it. This is more important than sandwiches. Semester exams are coming up, right? Right, sir. Hardy said. I've been studying day and night, sir. I know I'll finish at the head of my class. Maybe even higher. Good for you, the commander said dryly. But that's not what I'm worried about right now. What I'm worried about is that the fat cadet and his 3 good-for-nothing buddies might not flunk out. No chance of that, sir. Hardy reassured him with a smile. They're failing every course. They're even failing lunch. And they're failing bathroom. They're failing bathroom? Dork asked. Don't make me go into detail. Hardy said quietly. I really don't think there's a chance they'll pass, sir. That's what I TH out last semester. Dork said miserably. But somehow they managed to pass enough courses to stay in school. They cheated Commander Dork. I'm sure of it. Hardy said. It's pronounced Dork-A. Dork reminded him. Dork-A. He leaned forward on the edge of the desk and spoke in a low whisper. I need to make sure they fail this time, Hardy. I don't want any slip-ups. I want them out of my academy. All 4 of them. And I want you to help make sure that they fail. Cadet Hardy gave a brain-splitting salute that sent him staggering backward. Anything you say, sir, he said, shaking his head to clear away all the sparkling stars he was seeing. I'm always ready and willing to help. Perhaps I could get together with your daughter tonight and make a plan to dash. Leave my daughter out of it. Dork said quickly. She's sweet on that cadet named Hunk. She is? Cadet Hardy's perfect bronze tan faded just a bit at this news. If Debbie gets wind of any of this, she'll try to help the space cadets. Dork said and then added through clenched teeth. The little traitor. Perhaps I can make her see the big mistake she's making. Hardy said somewhat desperately. Perhaps if I were assigned to sit next to her in all of her classes and in the mess hall, I could dash. The headmaster silenced Hardy with a stern shake of his head. He leaned forward a little more on his desktop and said, think of someone else to help you, Hardy. Someone who loathes and despises the 4 space cadets as much as we do. He leaned forward a bit more, waiting in silent anticipation. Cadet Hardy furrowed his brow and struck a thoughtful pose. I think Cadet Cheesewell might be willing to help, sir. Cadet Camembert or Cammy Cheesewell was the best-looking female cadet in the Space Academy. She had flaming red hair and sparkling emerald green eyes. She wore her uniform so tight she couldn't walk and had to be carried from class to class. A look of surprise covered Commander Dork's face. Cammy Cheesewell? Why does she dislike the space cadets? Well, they're always whistling at her, sir. You know. Always chasing her down the halls, making jokes about how tight her uniform is. Stuff like that. Cammy hates stuff like that. She says it's sexist and rude. The headmaster leaned forward a bit more, thinking about Cammy Cheesewell. I knew her father. He confided. Munster Cheesewell. He and I were buddies during the Martian Wars. Poor fellow. Got his head cut off. During a battle with Martians? Hardy asked. No. Trying to open a can of beans? He just couldn't get the hang of an electric can opener. He thought you had to hold it up in front of you. Before we knew what was happening, he got his head caught in it. And? Commander Dork shook his head sadly and sighed. Never did get the can of beans open. They were kidney beans. My favorite. Sad. Hardy said, looking down and admiring his own reflection in his perfectly shined boots. So you and Cadet Cheesewell will help make sure that the 4 space cadets flunk their exams? Dork asked, returning to his concern of the moment. We'll try, sir. Hardy said, starting to give another head-banging salute, but catching himself just in time. Trying isn't good enough. Dork said, I'm counting on you, Hardy. And then he added in a whisper, I'll make it worth your while. You will, sir? Hardy said, suddenly breathing hard, his tongue hanging out like an expectant golden retriever. I'll let you have a 10% discount at the Academy gift and souvenir shop. Dork announced grandly. Cadet Hardy's shoulders slumped. He looked very disappointed. Only 10%? Okay. Make it 12%. Dork said irritably, leaning forward a bit more on the edge of the desk. On all items except clothing. I might even throw in a date with my daughter. If the space cadets fail miserably, don't worry about a thing, sir. Cadet Hardy said, already thinking about what to wear to impress Debbie Dork on their date. Perhaps a gold bandana draped casually around my neck. He thought. He'd have to check the dress code book and see if it was allowed. I am worried. Very worried. Commander Dork confided. You must succeed in getting them to fail. He leaned forward a bit more, toppled off the desk, and fell flat on his face on the floor.